In the latest gripping preview clip, tensions have clearly reached a breaking point between Brooke Logan and Taylor Hayes. At the end of the scene, Taylor rushes unexpectedly into Brooke's dressing room and slams the door shut behind her, immediately trapping both women inside. Brooke, visibly startled and confused, initially does not grasp the seriousness of their predicament. It quickly becomes clear, however, that the door they've been locked behind can only be opened from the outside, leaving them completely isolated and unable to escape without assistance. Brooke rushes to the door, frantically attempting to open it, only to confirm her worst fears. They are trapped. The realization sets in that the door is firmly sealed, and their only hope of rescue would come from someone noticing their absence and opening the door from the outside. Brooke instinctively suggests they shout for help, knowing time is of the essence, especially given the busy preparations for the fashion event outside their secluded room. But Taylor has a different agenda. Instead of immediately calling for help, Taylor seizes this moment to confront Brooke aggressively. Taylor's long-standing frustration and resentment toward Brooke have boiled over, prompting her to confront Brooke about her continued attempts to win back Ridge Forrester. Taylor issues a sharp and fierce warning, demanding Brooke stay away from Ridge once and for all, emphasizing that she is fed up with Brooke's constant flirtation and manipulative tactics to seduce Ridge back into her life. Brooke, however, is not one to back down from such accusations without a fight. She fiercely denies Taylor's claims, screaming back in anger and frustration that Taylor herself is the true interloper, the other woman trying to sabotage Brooke and Ridge's relationship. The confrontation quickly escalates as accusations fly back and forth, each woman passionately blaming the other for the pain and turmoil within their intertwined relationships. The verbal altercation grows more heated and intense, and suddenly Brooke's emotions take control. In a moment of anger and frustration, Brooke lashes out physically, slapping Taylor sharply across the face. Shocked by Brooke's violent response, Taylor instinctively retaliates. The emotional confrontation swiftly descends into physical chaos as both women grab each other's hair, wrestling fiercely in the cramped confines of the locked dressing room. Their anger and frustration pour forth, uncontrolled and unchecked, as years of pent-up hostility find release in this chaotic and painful struggle. However, what starts as a heated, emotional confrontation suddenly takes a terrifying turn. In the midst of their fierce fight, Taylor is abruptly struck by a severe and debilitating chest pain. Her expression quickly shifts from anger to panic as she gasps in pain, clutching her chest tightly. Her strength rapidly drains away, and she collapses helplessly onto the floor in front of Brooke. Brooke's initial anger instantly vanishes, replaced by overwhelming fear and confusion as she realizes something is terribly wrong with Taylor. Brooke desperately calls Taylor's name, trying urgently to revive her, but Taylor does not respond. It quickly becomes clear that Taylor has slipped into unconsciousness, her breathing shallow and increasingly labored. Brooke's panic surges as she grasps the severity of the situation. Taylor appears to have suffered a heart attack or a similarly critical medical event, and the locked room has suddenly become a terrifying prison, blocking any chance for immediate medical attention. Filled with mounting terror, Brooke frantically pounds on the locked door, desperately screaming for help. Her voice echoes within the sealed room, but it becomes painfully clear that the dressing room was designed to be fully soundproof, likely to protect the privacy of models and designers during fashion events. Brooke's frantic screams, pounding fists, and desperate pleas for help go unheard, drowned out entirely by the excitement, noise, and commotion of the fashion event taking place just steps away. As Brooke realizes no help is coming, she rushes back to Taylor's side. To Brooke's horror, Taylor's condition has deteriorated dramatically. Her skin has turned frighteningly pale, lips becoming a shade of bluish purple as oxygen fails to reach her body effectively. Brooke desperately tries CPR, attempting to revive Taylor and bring her back from the brink, but it quickly becomes evident that Taylor is not responding to any of her frantic efforts. Taylor's breathing ceases altogether, her body growing eerily still beneath Brooke's trembling hands. The chilling reality dawns on Brooke that Taylor has seemingly passed away right before her eyes, in her presence alone. A terrible silence fills the room, amplifying Brooke's helplessness and despair. Brooke now faces a horrific, unimaginable dilemma. How can she possibly explain Taylor's sudden and tragic death, particularly given the circumstances surrounding their violent confrontation? In these agonizing moments, Brooke's mind races, filled with fear about how others will perceive the situation. She knows that the physical evidence, the locked door, their violent altercation, and Taylor's sudden death will inevitably cast suspicion upon her. Her initial slap and their aggressive fight might easily be misinterpreted as having directly caused Taylor's fatal collapse. Brooke is acutely aware of the optics. How could she convincingly explain this tragic event, especially to Ridge, Steffi, and the broader Forrester and Logan families? Brooke contemplates the terrible consequences that will unfold once the truth is revealed. She envisions Ridge's heartbreak upon learning of Taylor's death, knowing it will devastate him deeply. Brooke fears Ridge's grief may turn into bitterness and blame directed squarely at her. The Logan and Forrester families, already fractured by years of complicated rivalries and animosity, may be irreparably shattered by this tragic incident, plunging them into deeper despair and endless accusations. Moreover, Brooke realizes the public perception and media scrutiny surrounding Taylor's death could threaten not only her reputation, but also her career and the stability of Forrester Creations. This incident, already tragic, could quickly become scandalous, casting a dark shadow over her life and the legacy of the company she has worked tirelessly to build. Brooke's fear and desperation continue to mount, knowing she must ultimately face questions from investigators, friends, family, and the community at large. How could she explain the unfortunate series of events truthfully without incriminating herself? Could the authorities truly understand that Taylor's tragic end was caused not by Brooke's deliberate actions, but by a medical emergency brought on during their emotionally charged confrontation? In the upcoming episodes, viewers will witness how Brooke navigates this impossible situation, desperately searching for help as she continues trying to signal someone from within the locked room. Meanwhile, outside, Ridge and others at the event eventually notice the women's unexplained absence, prompting a frantic search. When the door is finally opened, the grim discovery of Taylor's lifeless body next to a devastated Brooke will undoubtedly shock everyone, plunging their worlds into confusion, grief, and suspicion. Fans are now left questioning what lies ahead. How will Brooke confront the accusations that will surely follow? Will Ridge believe Brooke's account of the tragic accident, or will he blame her for Taylor's demise? How will Steffi and Thomas cope with losing their mother under such mysterious and tragic circumstances? The powerful drama surrounding Brooke's difficult situation guarantees emotional, intense, and gripping episodes ahead, exploring profound themes of guilt, innocence, grief, and redemption. It all begins when Steffi learns the devastating truth from her husband, Dr. Finn. Finn, a skilled physician who cares deeply for his patients, reluctantly informs Steffi via text message about Liam's inoperable brain tumor. The severity of Liam's condition deeply impacts Steffi. When Finn gets home, Steffi immediately demands every detail. Finn confirms the worst-case scenario. Liam's tumor is in an inoperable location, essentially giving him a death sentence. Steffi, overwhelmed by compassion and her deep personal history with Liam, insists on being the one to deliver the tragic news. Despite their complicated past and troubled relationship, Steffi feels strongly that Liam deserves to hear this heartbreaking prognosis from someone who truly cares about him. With Finn's reluctant consent, Steffi gathers the strength to face Liam, knowing full well that this moment will change his life irrevocably. When Steffi approaches Liam with the devastating news, his reaction is not at all what she expected. Rather than accepting or grieving, Liam steadfastly refuses to acknowledge his bleak prognosis. He immediately dismisses the news, denying its validity altogether. Liam's vehement denial leaves Steffi uncertain whether his reaction reflects a genuine intuition that the doctors may be wrong or whether he is simply denying the reality of his impending death. Faced with Liam's reaction, Steffi faces a profound moral dilemma. Liam has asked for complete secrecy about his illness, asking that no one, especially their daughter Kelly, learn of his deteriorating health. He fears causing unnecessary pain or anxiety to those he loves. But Steffi is torn between her conscience and her responsibility, knowing that others close to Liam have a right to understand the severity of his condition. This moral conflict puts Steffi in a difficult position. Should she respect Liam's wishes and remain silent, or should she risk his trust and inform others who have a legitimate stake in his life, especially Hope, the mother of Liam's other daughter, Beth? Hope certainly deserves to know the truth. Her daughter deserves the opportunity to spend meaningful time with her father in his final days. Additionally, Steffi considers Bill, Liam's father. Although Bill and Liam have recently had a serious argument, Steffi knows that Bill should not be unaware of his son's terminal condition. Family relationships, no matter how strained, are important beyond temporary disputes. Another important figure is Liam's brother, Wyatt. Although Wyatt has been absent from their inner circle for some time, Steffi admits that at least mentioning Wyatt and informing him of his brother's dire situation is a necessity born of basic human decency. These considerations weigh heavily on Steffi, adding to her internal struggle. She wonders how Liam could really expect her and Bridget, his significant other, to keep such a deep secret from everyone else in his life. After some deep reflection, Steffi decides that honesty must prevail, at least in part. She first contacts Hope, believing strongly that Beth deserves an equal chance to bond with her father, just as Kelly did. But Steffi is completely unprepared for Hope's shocked and heartbroken reaction. When Hope learns the news, she initially feels deeply betrayed and angry that Liam chose not to tell her directly. Rather than showing sympathy or empathy for Liam's terminal illness, Hope reacted coldly, immediately distancing herself from him. In a conversation that shocked everyone involved, Hope bluntly announced that she would cut all ties with Liam and keep Beth away from him completely. Hope justified her extreme reaction by expressing irrational fear that Liam's condition could somehow endanger Beth or even infect her. Her cruel and uncharacteristic response devastated Liam, crushing his emotional strength and will to fight the disease. This traumatic interaction with Hope has a profound impact on Liam's already fragile health. Already weakened by emotional stress, Liam suddenly suffers a massive heart attack, his condition rapidly deteriorating. In the crucial moments following Hope's brutal rejection, Liam's life hangs in the balance. Doctors rush to stabilize him, but it is uncertain whether he will survive the intense physical and emotional trauma. Hope's cold and cruel behavior sparks a heated debate among the other characters. Many begin to question whether her harsh actions indirectly contributed to Liam's critical medical event. Although unintentional, her rejection seems to push Liam over the edge, making her partially responsible, at least morally, for his deteriorating condition. Steffi, devastated by these developments, faces even greater pressure. She now struggles with guilt, wondering if her decision to inform Hope was a serious error in judgment. Hope's reaction goes beyond anything Steffi could have anticipated, leaving her with a deeper sense of responsibility and grief. Steffi now faces intense blame and accusations from other family members who criticize her choice, compounding her emotional turmoil. Meanwhile, Bill reacts violently to learning about Liam's condition indirectly. He confronts Steffi, angry that she kept him in the dark for so long, even for a moment, despite Liam's request. Bill turns his grief into anger, desperate to find someone to blame. His heated confrontation with Steffi adds to the emotional stress she is already under. Wyatt, though geographically distant, soon learns of Liam's dire health situation through a surprise phone call. He immediately makes plans to return to Los Angeles, determined to stand by his brother in these crucial final days. Wyatt's imminent return is important, symbolizing a reunion that could bring Liam emotional comfort and perhaps a measure of reconciliation before it's too late. As Liam desperately fights for his life, his internal conflict deepens. He now realizes the devastating consequences his decision to hide the truth has had on everyone around him, especially his relationships with Hope and Beth. Liam's heart is further broken when Hope refuses, and he realizes that Beth may grow up with bitter resentment and not understanding her father's true intentions. Steffi remains Liam's strongest supporter, standing by his side, determined to support him through these final moments no matter the cost. Her unwavering loyalty underscores the deep emotional bond between them, a bond that remains strong despite the complexities of their past. Even Finn, though initially wary, embraces Steffi's compassionate approach, recognizing that Liam deserves respect, honesty, and kindness in his final days. Ultimately, Liam's story on The Bold and the Beautiful highlights themes of courage, regret, responsibility, and emotional vulnerability. It explores how fragile relationships can be shattered in an instant due to poor communication and misplaced fear. Viewers wonder if Hope's behavior, while perhaps not intentionally malicious, indirectly caused Liam's near-death experience and, potentially, his ultimate downfall. As the story continues, we'll be watching closely to find out if Liam survives this heartbreaking ordeal. Can Hope find redemption and reconcile her emotional reactions, or has her actions permanently changed people's perceptions of her? Will Steffi find the strength to navigate this complex moral maze while protecting her family and those she cares deeply about? How will Bill and Wyatt's involvement change the course of Liam's final chapter?